Hi everyone, Emily here, and I kind of have a lot to share. I don't want to make it super long because I know my other videos are a little bit on the long side, but I have experienced some amazing successes, progress, clarity, and acceptance. And I really pray that my experiences and the help that I received is returned to everybody else, whether you helped me, whether you're being challenged or struggling through something. I really pray that this video reaches you, and with all the blessings that God blessed me with, I pray that you receive it, plus 49 full blessings, however He knows that you deserve and need it. But in my previous videos, what I've explained is about being a victim and survivor of domestic abuse and gang stalking, and essentially waking up to the matrix. Part of it, I would say, since I still don't know everything about it. But it's been quite a journey. And I know in my videos I seem pretty calm and collected, but it's because I am on my healing journey, and that healing journey was not the prettiest because I'm human, and if you're being abused, you're gonna scream, shout, yell, probably act crazy, but you're not the crazy one, and God knows that. He knows that we're only human and we're vulnerable, and we react or respond accordingly in our vulnerable moments. So I really pray that you continue to not have shame from that, and just to understand that it's part of the exposure process about what tortures and horrendous crimes are out there, and what it causes and how it causes humans to react and respond. But I, oh my goodness, have been so blessed, because when I was living in Los Angeles, I had a psychiatrist who was not the best. However, in abusive environments, God has always provided me his hand, his blessings, even in the darkest moments. And she, the psychiatrist, prescribed me Vyvanse because she had indicated that I kind of had this whole slew of diagnoses when I was in this really bad state, which could be understandable, but she did diagnose me with inattentive ADHD. And I was prescribed 20 milligrams of Vyvanse, and mind you, I got this prescription 2 years ago. And then when I moved home to Minnesota, I was really struggling with substance abuse, with marijuana and vaping and mushrooms. So I didn't really feel the real effects of Vyvanse because of the other substance abuse. But it was a miracle because my mom actually pulled out my old prescriptions, and thank God that she kept it. She pulled it out and she said, "These are all your old prescriptions." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you still had that Vyvanse." Because in the back of my head, not even in the back of my head, but my intuition, God kept kind of like nudging me that ADHD, Adderall medication, just certain hints along my journey that I needed it. I went through a whole phase of like totally anti-Western medicine to only holistic natural medicine. And now He's finally bringing me to a place where it's like, there's good things in everything. It just depends on the person. So I took a 20 milligram Vyvanse a couple days ago, and miraculously, when I took it, I pretty quickly, within the first day was like the first 30 minutes, I started to feel super zen, like so calm, so relaxed, just like no racing thoughts for once. And I laid down in my bed and I was like, wow, this is the first time I've really felt so just like relaxed and at peace. I almost felt like I was in like this meditation kind of zone. It was lovely. And at first I was like, oh, I do kind of feel a little bit too sleepy, but whatever, like I feel so relaxed. And I feel like this feeling that I got when I first took the medication, I've never taken Xanax, but I feel like this is like a similar effect, I would say, to those who deal with a lot of anxiety on how they would feel on Xanax. And then later in the day, I was just at like this stable, but just very present and calm just state. It was just so nice. And I still felt like myself, but it was like for the first time in like my whole life, I didn't feel rushed. I didn't feel like my mind was like chit-chattering all over the place. I still had thoughts here and there, but it seemed to be more normal and just more relaxed. And my energy was just more just like so zen. But long story short, I won't get into all the details. Those who have been abused by whatever, it might be domestic violence, narcissistic abuse, whatever relationships that you've had, professional, romantic, or friendships, you know, you name it, wherever it may be. And then on top of that, if you've been awakened by the corrupt law enforcement, gang stalking, basically just realizing what, and I don't say basically to be condescending, but just in the grand scheme of things, to a part of the matrix and how the world really works. As a neurodivergent woman, just speaking from my experiences, now that I think about it, they most likely know that. And so they take advantage of your weaknesses and exploit you on them and lead you to medical professionals that will lead you to diagnoses. I'm not saying all doctors do this, because some doctors have good intentions and just diagnose to kind of what they see on the paperwork or what they think it might be. But sadly, there are going to be very intentional and unintentional doctors that will misdiagnose you. And that is extremely damaging, because as a victim and survivor of not only just, you know, mental health and abuse, we're just trying to get better and heal. That's all we want, is to get answers, heal, get us back on our feet so we can live, you know, healthy, stable lives and be able to contribute to society more effectively in a healthy state. But I was diagnosed with bipolar multiple times, and I was getting really frustrated because intuitively what God was telling me is, he kept saying like, you're not bipolar. But when you have medical professionals like look at your paperwork and keep on shoving that down in your face, you really start to question yourself, and you're like, well, maybe it is bipolar and I'm just gonna wave my white flag. But every time I took those medications, I just fell off. Like, it just didn't feel right intuitively. And then miraculously, just a few days ago, I took the Vyvanse 20 milligrams, and I literally, as soon as I took it and I realized, like, I just felt relaxed, I like started to have these flashbacks to when I was younger about like basically my ADHD. It was like my life like flashed before my eyes about God did that, and he was like, this is it. And medication does not fix everything, of course, but it was a huge step in the right direction for me to have like answers and clarity to a lot. And I just really pray that anyone that's out there that is either being misdiagnosed, whether it's unintentional or intentional, I really pray that you it's hard to keep your faith strong, but to know that God has got your back. I pray that in the right timing, may it be speedily in your days here, that you be connected to the doctors that will really hear you, that will listen to you and diagnose you correctly and provide you the medication that you really need. And trust your gut. If a diagnosis doesn't seem right, if a medication does not feel right, it's your body, and your body will tell you what feels right and what doesn't feel right. Continue to self-advocate even when doctors will push back. It can be really difficult, but I pray that God will keep your resilience strong, and he will connect you with the right providers and the right medication that will be a step in the right direction into your healing process. And another thing I want to say too is that while being on this medication, and I finally found, I think, a therapist who will be able to help me talk through my trauma. But where I'm at so far, and this is just with the medication, I swear it like opened up all of these new like clarity, just so much clarity of even like reflecting on my own trauma on myself, like with myself, and talking to my parents about it too. And so I'm really looking forward to talking with a therapist to even go down into it deeper with a professional who will actually like hear me out. But medication, you guys, like I went through a whole phase where I was so anti it, but just from what I'm experiencing so far, I am a supporter of it. And I think a lot of you who are seeking the help and maybe had a similar path to me, when you just kind of didn't trust anyone or anything or any medicine, and you've just been trying to either self-medicate, whether that was with marijuana or, with vaping, or with maybe you thought it was bipolar meds or whatever, even alcohol too. I think there's a lot of people that, if you've been severely abused, and if you are on the neurodivergent spectrum, ADHD, autism, whatever it may be, I really pray that you get put on the right medication, because again, everyone's different, but it's only the third day and it has worked wonders for me. And it's immediate, which is amazing. Like, that's like an ADHDer's dream, right? Again, I don't want to get people's hopes up, because everyone's ADHD is different. Some people respond to Ritalin, some people respond to Adderall. I actually have tried all, like back in the day, like when I was younger. Ritalin was more recent from the Los Angeles prescription. Ritalin did not work for me, and when I tried Adderall, like in high school or college, I think it worked, but I think it was just way too strong, and then I never took it seriously, and then just never got the prescription. So yeah, basically it's just, I just really pray that you guys just know that you're not crazy. And it can be so hard when you just feel like the world is kind of upside down, but like that inner fight in you, when you know that something is off, that is God literally advocating for you and being like, listen, I know that no one's perfect, we all make mistakes, but literally when the world is telling you you're this one thing, you're in the wrong, they're throwing these mental health diagnoses that literally you're just the problem, you're not the problem. God is advocating for you, and he is working you, and I pray that he gets you to a point where you are so strong, you have so much clarity that you can self-advocate for yourself, because that's exactly what God wants for each of his children, to be able to self-advocate for themselves. Because the world won't, sadly. You'll find some hopefully really good people in the world that will, but sometimes that can be really rare, considering, I don't know, just situations out there. But yeah, I just really wanted to share that, and I hope that this reaches the people that may need the help, and that shockingly sometimes the medication, and we want quick answers, and it doesn't always happen. Mine has been a long journey, but God's timing is always perfect, because had I taken this medication, even if I wasn't abusing substances like a few years back, I don't think God would, and the medication would have provided me the same answers as it did today, because I had to go through the process of healing to understand what was actually going around in my surroundings before, sorry if that just kind of makes sense, just trauma healing, because I had really no understanding of what was going on in my surroundings and how that was highly affecting my mental health. But since I had more answers and more clarity on that, and then on top of that I got medication to help, it's like bingo. God's timing is perfect, and he does things in the exact time when he knows it's going to be the most optimal. And it can only, progress looks up and down like this, but when you go up and down, and when God is really helping you out, it's going to go up and down, but you're still going to be going up. So yeah, that's basically all I want to share. And again, I pray that this reaches the souls, that this could really help people out if you're in a very challenging situation. You are so strong. You got this. You are so strong, and just remember, you're not crazy. And yeah, you can feel free to reach out to me if you just want to talk about stuff. I know it can always be kind of scary to talk to strangers online, and who can you trust these days, but I just really want to put it out there, just being open about it. And if you feel intuitively it's the right thing to do, I'll just try to give you my best support, just to hear you out. And I just really want to be able to help people that have either been in a situation kind of like mine or not even like mine, but are just looking for a supportive community, because it can be difficult out there. And if you feel alone, like, community is so important. So yeah, that's it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening. Bye.